Travel along, Catholic pilgrims, as we learn from St. Augustine, Doctor of the Church, while we read his book, Confessions. Welcome, Catholic pilgrims. We have another interesting reading on memory again today, focused primarily on having to relearn things that we've neglected to think about for a time. So we are reading from Book 10, Chapter 11 on page 218. From this, we can conclude that learning these facts, which do not reach our minds as images by means of the senses, but are recognized by us in our minds without images, as they actually are, is simply a process of thought by which we gather together things which, although they are muddled and confused, are already contained in the memory. When we give them our attention, we see to it that these facts, which have been lying scattered and unheeded, are placed ready to hand, so that they are easily forthcoming once we have grown used to them. My memory holds a great number of facts of this sort, things which I have already discovered and, as I have said, placed ready to hand. This is what is meant by saying that we have learnt them and know them. If, for a short space of time, I cease to give them my attention, they sink back and recede again into the more remote cells of my memory, so that I have to think them out again like a fresh set of facts if I am to know them. I have to shepherd them out again from their old lairs, because there is no other place where they can have gone. In other words, once they have been dispersed, I have to collect them again, and this is the derivation of the word cogitare, which means to think or to collect one's thoughts. For in Latin, the word cogo, meaning I assemble or I collect, is related to cogito, which means I think, in the same way as ago is related to agito, or facio to factito. But the word cogito is restricted to the function of the mind. It is correctly used only of what is assembled in the mind, not what is assembled elsewhere. The priest at our base chapel has been adding in lots of traditional aspects to the Mass, and I am here for it. When my husband and I returned to this chapel after being away for 13 years, we found the reverence and the practices lacking. But then we got a new priest, and things started to change. Father Joe has upped the reverence, and you can really sense the difference in how the parishioners have responded. There are more people at Mass, the community has gotten closer, and just the all-around atmosphere is much, much better. And Father Joe did it all with a smile on his face, and he implemented things just little by little. Now, one of the things he has begun to change is having the responses said in Latin. Last Sunday, we sang the Gloria in Latin, and it's been years since I've done that. Last time was when we were stationed in Ohio back in 2020, so it's been a few. And I found that I remembered some of it, but not all of it. And my husband and I laughed over dinner on Sunday about how we need to brush up and learn it again. St. Augustine says, quote, "If for a short space of time I cease to give them my attention, they sink back and recede again into the more remote cells of my memory, so that I have to think them out again like a fresh set of facts if I am to know them." Unquote. That's exactly how I felt this past Sunday, but I'm happy to relearn the Latin of the Gloria again. In fact, I love singing it in Latin, so there's no frustration on my part at all. One of our limitations, Catholic pilgrims, is that if we don't use it, we can lose it. Unlike God, who doesn't have to learn or relearn things, we do. And that's okay. That is all for today, Catholic pilgrims. Have a great day, and until we meet again, live the faith boldly and travel well.